Okay, so we're now recording. We're now on the record, and I have to be sensible. So, good morning, everyone joining us. Ed, collaboration.
I love it.
I know. I resisted the urge there to go, well, was the Ice Tea? But stop, collaborate, and listen.
I actually had one of our members of our network create a cocktail, a Christmas event that we had here.
Oh, cool.
And I named it Stop, Collaborate and Listen.
Yay! See, great minds thinking
Exactly.
alike. That's what we like. So, people, yes, we are talking a collaboration today because I've got a bee in my bonnet.
It's a lot of bonnet as well.
I've got 100 weaves stuck to my head, and all. You're going to make a lot of jokes about this now, aren't you?
No. I'm just going to sporadically drop them in so that I don't suffer over.
All right, let me tell the little bird that we're here, and everybody else, please tell the little bird that we are here. So, yes, collaboration. What's bugging me is that we don't seem to be doing enough of it. And I see a lot of people not collaborating when they could be collaborating because they kind of view other people maybe as competition or they can't be arsed. And South Australia, I can totally love South Australia because you are half British, kind of. What? It's like, yeah, she's going completely random today. Have you met Sam?
Yeah.
I haven't been on the grape juice. Look, I've got my coffee in my One Direction cup. I know all that, right? It gets a bit like obsessive about what cup I'm using. So it's the One Direction.
A bucket of coffee.
Yeah, I usually have one of them on my desk, actually.
Which don't tell anyone that I own a co-working space that has an espresso machine in it. It's just I needed a big one.
A big one.
It was a late night. I needed a big coffee.
Yeah. There's no price on the bottom of this cup today, All Dark, right? Because it's one that I've had a while, because it still has all 5 members of One Direction on the cup. So, and Ed's even eating his breakfast. I don't know how you speak then. So,
now,
collaboration.
Sorry, just to butt in. You said that Leanne was technically half English because she's Australian, and now she wants to join in. When she's asked kindly, can she jump in and say hi? Well, given that you said that this is a UK and Irish business, I'm going to hold the control over to you.
Oh, right. I'm allowed to break my own rules. Look at him. Look at face on him now.
Hi, Sam and Ed. How are you?
I am very good. Do you know what, Ed? I'm actually just going to tell you as well. I'd invited another Aussie to come and join us as well today. I'd invited James Hughes because I like James.
Do you want more people to come into the room?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. I've got 1,058 followers here on Blab, so if you want me to, I've just told them.
Tell them.
So,
I'll not discriminate where they're from.
That's good. I just thought I'd double check. Sometimes
UK and Irish business, but we'll skirt around that and crack on.
Yeah,
and that's
Sam, collaboration. I suspect this hour is going to fly by before we even get a chance to say anything.
Yes. So Leanne,
collaboration.
Yes.
He's off again. He's on one today, I can tell. I invited another Aussie along, and the reason I did James Hughes because I like the work that he does, and he's totally open to collaborating with anyone. And I think this is a point that we need to get our heads around as business people in general. Like, it doesn't matter where someone is. If you can rub together, great, and you can help each other along. And as that little team, because me and Ed, we're a bit of a dream team, aren't we, Ed? So
Yeah. So we'll go with this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So why would anybody? So many people don't collaborate together because they view each other as competition. And I was talking I work in social media, but recently a lot of people have been asking me advice about live streaming because I've been off doing different things, and I went to the big event, the Periscope event in New York. So it's given me a great insight into live streaming. And I was talking to another social media person the other day, and they were actually, would you come and speak at my event? Because you know so much more about this than what I can tell my people. And I was like, of course I can. doesn't bother me. We're in the same industry. You know, there's a whole big world of fishing there for us to do business in. So why should I not come and speak at your event? We may work in the same industry. We perhaps may talk with the same clients sometimes. But if I've got something to offer that you can't do, then I can actually help your business as well. So why shouldn't I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Sam, that's actually what I do. Like I am a connector, and I connect people, and it's something that I've done all my life. Like I'm a farmer here in South Australia. So, you know, that's this half of me. The other half of me has been online since 1997, does a lot within the ag industry. But I have over 27,000 LinkedIn first level connections. So LinkedIn is where I have built my network, and I use that to connect people. And here on Blab, I certainly have made in some amazing partnerships and got to know amazing people. And I just think we all need to work together.
Exactly.
And we all have skills and knowledge, and like Lorcan just popped in before, and I think he's gone. He's in Ireland, and Lorcan and I have met.
With a name like that.
Yeah, and Lorcan and I have met just here on Blab, and we've started to do some work together. And I don't know whether you know Sam. Can't think of her name. Tweeting Goddess.
The other Sam. Yeah.
Sam Kelly, the other Sam. Yep. And so, and like I've just made some amazing friends, you know, apart from the business opportunities that this platform has produced. I've made some amazing friends, and I think the collaboration is just key.
But a quick question for you, Leanne.
Sure.
What collaboration have you actually done? So what I mean by that is I totally agree, making friends and agreeing with them and working together through. But what's the actual collaboration that you've achieved that has? Well, I'll leave the question there.
Okay. So Lorcan, and I probably won't say too much, but Lorcan and I are working on a product, you know, like working on a product launch together. And as I said, that's purely through meeting on Blab and then building the relationship and taking that connection offline. I have a real estate agent in, and I'm not sure whether you heard, like I have over 27,000 LinkedIn connections. So LinkedIn is where that's sort of where I have developed my network and knowledge. So the police in LA, working with those, Lorcan and Irish Australian launch. It's a bit like a joke, and or Irishman and Australian walked into a pub. So
Irish get everywhere.
Yeah. So Ed, so lots of, and for example, there's people here that I've met that I actually refer business. We might be talking, and I'll think, okay, I reckon I know somebody that here on Blab, and so for example, there's a guy that creates amazing gifts, like to actually put into Blabs and on. On websites and things. And so I've actually...
He got me on one a few weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah. And so I've actually put him together with the police department in LA to do some personalised gifts for them for some of their social media stuff. So, lots of different things.
The reason I ask is that there's the collaboration is one that I think many people get confused. So, for example, a training provider and a venue isn't a collaboration. It's a partnership and a customer-supplier relationship. A collaboration is an artist and a writer coming together to create a graphic novel. It's creating a product or service that one person couldn't do on their own. And often it is two people who are in competition with each other, but they have their own skill set that then enables them to come together and create something so special, which is the reason why I asked. The reason why collaboration is such a great thing, because ultimately your joint resources can help you become more successful, and the perception of your business is one of support and growth and not one of competition.
For example, Ed, I actually co-host a social selling, like a LinkedIn social selling Blab every week with a guy, I forget where he's from, Brian McFarlane. So, theoretically on the surface, I teach LinkedIn, he teaches LinkedIn, we both but we work perfectly together. He's a planner, I'm a winger, and so from a show perspective, we both we both add value, and he has his plan, and I'll throw stuff in, and I manage the. So for me, that has been an amazing collaboration, because what we're creating is effectively a product, and so he refers stuff to me because we all use the platforms for different reasons and in different ways, and some people are going to like me the way that I am, and some people are going to like so that's the way that I work.
I was actually just going to say that, Leanne, as well. When you said that then about you were working with somebody else that's a LinkedIn expert, but it's like, actually sometimes we all have different views and opinions of all the different networks. So
yeah, absolutely.
And I get really sick of people who sort of want to ram down your throat the absolute correct way to use a social media platform. There is none.
And there's not. There's not.
Faux pas, certainly, that you don't make, and there's certain, etiquettes and customs and all that kind of stuff, and that's absolutely fine. But like little things like, Ed knows well enough that if you read my Twitter feed, it's that bleeding random that it's like, seriously? Is this girl even got a train of thought here? Lee, because I'm putting out business stuff, and then the next thing I'm like, Danielle just hair done, and then I'm like tweeting some profanities at Ed, that kind of thing, and it's like, but actually, if you asked a Twitter expert, they'd probably tell me I'm doing it wrong, and it's like, am I? Because my follower numbers are going up, people reply to me, people engage with me, people have little chats on there with me. Like, I might be talking, like, the other day, I got a little bit sporty obsessed because I had the rugby and then the football, and I was flying my Irish flag, and I wasn't going to bloody well shut up about it. And every single tweet.
Yeah, I've got off your Twitter feed until Ireland get knocked out of the World Cup.
And then I get a bit like, but.
Absolutely. Like, and that's what I say, like when. Everyone uses, and that's what I say, everyone uses the platform for different reasons, and like, and when I say, like, and probably Blab has been where most people know now that I'm the LinkedIn lady, and I've got all these connections, and they say, oh, she's the expert, and I said, well, I know how I use it, and I know stuff that other people don't, but there's plenty of other people that use it in different ways that I don't even know about or think about, and so if I have some people come to me and I think, no, the way I do it is different, and the way this person does it is different again, and go, like, the world's a big place. There's an awful lot of people in the world, and there's enough business to go around for everyone.
Yeah, it's lovely. Is anybody else in the because the comments are going a bit quick there? Does anybody else like to jump in?
I think Lorcan said he needs to go.
I'm desperate for Old Arkwright to join into a Blab full stop, but he's managed to avoid. He's the elusive Old Arkwright.
He turns up everywhere, he never joins in. And my good friend Sandra.
No, he's one of the most. No, you say he never joins in. Yeah. He's one of the most active participants of any Blab I've ever had with him, but he's just never actually taken a seat in the room.
And Ed, it's actually funny. Like, I have been involved in adult education and facilitation, all sorts of things over the last however long. And one of the things that I have learned is never to assume that someone's not engaged because they don't act like we act, and that we're prepared to come on camera. And I always remember doing. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but there's a moral to the story. Doing a facilitation workshop. It was a week workshop. There was a girl in there who was a mouse. She didn't say a word. She looked like she was petrified the whole week. And I remember at the end of it, when we went around to sort of see what everyone got out of it, this girl, her name was Donna. I'll never forget. It was probably, 18 or 19 years ago. And she said, just because I don't speak up like everyone else, and just because I don't, doesn't mean that I wasn't engaged and I didn't enjoy it and I didn't get a lot out of it. And that has sat with me the whole time. So like I'll quite often just participate in the chat, and not necessarily come on camera, but, and if someone says no, they can't, I go, yep, that's okay. Like, yeah, it's interesting, like how different people participate. And so, yeah, sorry, I got off on my rant, so I'll shut up now.
No, these Blabs that are often home to the odd rant now and again, usually from Sam or myself. So feel free to.
Sorry, you just found another one.
That's all right.
Sorry.
That's all right. So collaborations are. I'd love to know if anyone has been in a business situation where the business itself or the project they're working on is close to floundering, but because of a collaboration, and I mean a collaboration rather than a supplier-customer partnership, have been revamped. Lego is a prime example of a business that was on its knees, was about to go under, and through some particular collaborations have rebranded to what they are today, which is, you know, a huge organization. So I wonder if at our level, because none of us here represent a brand the size of Lego, I'm assuming, has been in this. I'd love to know if anyone else has been in that situation where a collaboration has saved their business from extinction, or if you know of one that has.
I mean, I can probably give my own personal example. Like, I, for however long, have just done what I've done in my own little world, and probably, you know, the little voice on my shoulder says, you know, do you really know what you think you know? And, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So from the actual income making perspective of my business, I've made, and I use the word could and should and all of those words very, very, I hate them. But, you know, so being here on Blab, I've actually made more connections and being more public, and people know what I do, than for the last maybe 5 years. So from my business perspective, you know, so I was literally just like that, whereas my business now, you know, and maybe not necessarily right at this instant from a dollar perspective, but and I quite often liken it to growing a crop as a farmer. You know, we plant our crops in April, and we fertilise them, we water them, and we reap them at the end of the year. And so that's, for me, how I see the relationships and collaborations that I've been developing here as, you know, it's here, then it's here, and at some point in time it's going to go like that.
I'm going to give you a great example. It's like, oh God, there she goes. I can always, you know when I pipe up and Ed's face goes, oh shit, he never knows what's going to come out. And he's like, oh shit, here she goes. Anything could happen. I'm going to give you a great
I'm going to kick the co-host off before. Anyway, go on, carry on.
Yes, yeah, actually, you've got co-host right, so, you know, he'll kick me off. I did a Periscope broadcast the other day that was totally different to what I usually do. And there were quite a few people who I've met through my blabs and things like that jumped on to watch that Periscope. It was a really it was actually a personal story that I told on my Periscope. And because of the people that I've met through these little networking blabs and things like that, I had the courage to do it. What actually resulted from that is afterwards, I got quite a lot of emails from people I didn't know that had watched that broadcast. It touched them. It made them think, and they reached out to me to say thank you. If it hadn't been for the people I've met, like Ed, and I think there's a few more in the comments there as well, that supported me through that, even though I've never met Ed, but we talk every day, I couldn't have done it, which meant I wouldn't have been able to reach out to those people that then said they found what I said of an enormous importance and enormous help. And they actually then said to me, please do more of this, because actually what you have got to say is so important. Now, that's actually, it's nothing to even do with my business. No. It's a completely personal thing. But if I hadn't met those people, I'd have never done it. I'd have never had the chance to do it. I'd have never had the courage to do it. And then I wouldn't have had their support either. And that's really, really important, because, yes, it wasn't a business collaboration. It was nothing to do with that. But actually, they came together as a collaboration to support me through it.
Yeah.
And that...
Absolutely.
And that was an amazing thing that they all did for me. So thank you.
It was, it was a great post. I want to a question that has been posted by Roy Louis, who says, are collaboration efforts tool dependent? I think the answer is that's no. That the first part. It's the second part that's more interesting, which is I plan to work with virtual teams, so any popular tools that collaborators use. So no, they're not tool dependent in terms, but what are the best tools that you think support collaboration? And the two that spring to mind for me are Trello.
Yes.
And if it's virtual teams, then potentially Slack as well would be a good one to aid for both of those. But I don't know if you two had any tools that you come across that you think can support collaboration.
I use Dropbox for everything. Of course. Like literally, if I lost my Dropbox tomorrow, I'd probably lose my life. Like, I know, quite scary. It is like literally. You're not clogging up your email. You can send big files. You can just drop stuff in there. If I have clients on the other side of the world, I know that I can just stick something in there and they're going to pick it up when they get up in the morning. Like, it's a great tool for sharing. I couldn't do that with Dropbox.
Probably Google Docs. Is something that that I've used. So I actually have two people that I work with in the Philippines. One has worked with me for a couple of years, and he pretty much does a lot of my social media. Like a lot of my social media posting. Like I have as a bit of an aside, so, as a result of our farm business, which is we grow hay and sell it to for the horse industry. So as a result of that, I was learning about Facebook ads and gravity pages and all of that sort of stuff. And so I created a niche horse page, which it literally was just my learning, and I through ads and all sorts of things, I grew that page from nothing to 10,000 fans in less than 21 days through really targeted advertising. So he has really been doing a lot of the posting on that page for me. So he and I work through Skype pretty much and email. So that's very much now he knows what he needs to do. And so and I'm not a very good manager. I'd be the first one to put my hand up and say that I'm not a good manager from the perspective of keeping tabs on people and micromanaging. I don't. I just, they know what they need to do. And, probably when they first started, that was not the case. But now, he just does his work and I know what he does and that's the way that sort of works. I have another one that I work with, and we do a lot with Skype, but we do a lot like Skype face-to-face with video. The other thing that I was just thinking is, I don't know whether people have come across Appear.in, which is a private, so effectively it's a private room. Yeah, so it's Appear.in, and I'll type it into the chat, because you can have up to 8 people in the room at the same time. So same sort of thing here as Blab, that we've got 4. But the Appear.in rooms are private, so you can create your own private room and then invite people in. So from the perspective, if you've got a team to actually talk together, Appear.in, and it's free, and so you can share, screens and share things. So that would be another one that
really it's almost like having your own private conference meeting, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. That's good. One of the really good suggestions there, actually, in the comment box. Somebody with there's Basecamp. I know a lot of people that do use Basecamp. I've never used it myself, but I do hear some good things about it. And Yammer as well. Yammer is great.
There's a blog post coming on.
I see
a blog post coming on with a list of all the different collaborations.
And funny you should say that. I've actually, there's a few people here that I've met on Blab that are just about resource encyclopedias, and so it's something that I've certainly been contemplating running is tell us your best resource, and actually having some blabs and interviewing people and that sort of thing. So yes, you're right, Ed, a blog post would be really useful.
Yeah, I'm on it. Ed, don't look at me to write. No, it takes me.
No, me neither.
Write a blog post. And then
I started a blog post. I started a blog post last Thursday, and I'm hoping to have it finished by the end of this week. And it's only going to be about 2. I don't know how I wrote a book. Actually, funny, the book is not a self-promotional thing because that will kick me out. But I was commissioned. Bear with me. You can hover over that X if you want, Sam, but this will be justified.
Hovering.
I had a I was approached through LinkedIn to write a book for businesses who've been trading for about a year. And there is someone who I do some work with. I, here in Cambridge, coach and mentor startup businesses. And there's someone who I work closely with who's also a business coach. So rather than trying to find out a way of dividing Cambridge or how we can separate our networks so we're not tripping over each other, actually, we wrote the book together. And we collaborated on something that wouldn't have been done on its own because our experiences, our network, our writing comes from two very different angles. So from that point of view, there's an example of two businesses who technically on the surface would be competitive, but actually came together to write a more collaborative response. But as you know, Sam, this is not self-promotional.
So you're not going to start waving the book around.
It's your blab. You can promote whatever you like.
I've only just noticed, if you look, there's a real banner.
We have a no pitch rule, and it's because we got fed up of people jumping on board to buy my shit brigade. So yeah, that's right. And I have kicked people off in the past when
fair thing,
and I'm like, out.
Fair thing. And Ian is in here. He's in here. And Ian's from Melbourne, and he was actually on a blab. I was on a blab late this afternoon, just with a heap of friends, and I was in the supermarket here in our local town. So I was taking them for a trip around our local supermarket. So if you're wondering why Ian's typing about the supermarket, it's because I was blabbing from the supermarket today, and we were just being silly. And it was like they were sitting in the supermarket trolley because I was showing them what I was putting in there, and I was showing them, the prices of the stuff here in South Australia. So sometimes, when I'm on a blab, people come in and talk about random stuff. Sorry.
I love old Arkwright's
in fairness, I once did that, didn't I, about the reduced counter in Waitrose. And I went off about it for ages. I was like,
she did, really.
I did.
The old Arkwright's comment, which is, do you mean those that have been on Blab 2 days and write a book about being experts on Blab?
Oh, stop. It's like the bloody self-professed
yes.
But there are too many of those on social media as well. They may have a whole, they've got their own Facebook personal profile. They've got 2,000 friends on it. And I think they're, as a result, they're social media experts and write stuff about it. Yes, those type of people.
Legend in lunchtime. I love that comment.
In their own lunchbox, we say here, legend in their own lunchbox.
Yeah.
But one, and just quickly, I actually went onto a blab one day that there was 2 girls who had been on blab for a couple of days and were doing, the 5 best tips to run a good blab or something. And I just jumped in and I was watching, and they and I wanted to what they were saying, and I'm thinking, I just want to jump into a seat and just say, look, you can do this and you can do that, and this is how this works, and they wouldn't let me into the seat. And I thought, okay, that's fine. And eventually they did, because they asked the comment, who's got more than 500 followers? And I just quickly flipped in, yeah, I do. So that was fine. But like a troll came in and was asking whether they were married and how old they were and all this stuff. And they were sitting there answering it. I'm thinking, oh, no, no, you don't So no, you're right. The people that come on and they're experts in 2 days.
I've been trolled on a blab, and there's quite a few people watching this one at the moment that were there the day I got trolled on the blab.
I missed it.
I was trolled by someone I knew. It was very funny though, and it turned into like a live episode of Bleeding Tinder on the blab. But it was someone I knew that did it, and it did actually provide great entertainment value. But if you looked at the blab experts, would probably have said, "Don't do that."
And I think that there's an etiquette, and even from a show perspective, the person that's that's the host, it's up to them to actually set the tone of the room. And like if you and if you're happy with whatever's going on, then but that's one of the good things now about actually having co-hosts. And quite often what I'll do is I'll have 3 or 4 co-hosts, because you can have as many as you like, and not necessarily be on screen. I'll quite often have co-hosts sitting in the like in the comments, because when you're actually trying to run a show, you don't want to have to be worried about dealing if somebody puts in a comment that's really inappropriate. You don't have to want to be in the situation of you're stopping what you're thinking and doing because you're worried about what someone's going to say or do. And I've done it many times, and I'll be talking, and all of a sudden I'll see someone come into the room, and I think, and I'll stop mid-sentence. But yeah, so anyway, I'll stop.
Oh dear. I would actually like to know from anyone in the comments or anyone that would like to join in, possible collaborations they actually envisage with anyone else in the comments, because I know some people lurk and chat to each other in the comments as well, and it's like, work together, be nice together, like play together nicely, children.
Can I add in there as well that even if it's not for anyone who wants to join in the open sea, even if you've not directly been involved in a collaboration, if you know another brand that has, we've already talked about some successes here of collaborations. Lego was one. It collaborated with Kusu, which is a Japanese company that created a whole new business model. There's another one called Local Motors, which brings together communities of designers and fabricators and automotive enthusiasts to solve motor problems locally. So if you know of any collaborations, if you then jump on board, then come and tell us what those collaborations are. Big brands, small brands. It's those stories that can help us, because often with collaborations, it's not easy to see the person who may be out there who can help support our growth and theirs. So
there's actually a lady called
Sandra
Centurino.
I was in New York with Sandra. I went to New York.
So Sandra's actually running. So she and I've been co-hosting as well. It's a show called Collaboration. On exactly the same thing, and I think that's where it's called collaboration.
That's a Sandra-ism, is that?
Yeah, it's a Sandra-ism, collaboration. Yes, it is on tonight, so it's actually my tomorrow, because seeing it's 8:04 at night my time, you get the time zones do your head in, but yes, it is in probably 12 hours time or so, I don't know, something like that. So for exactly the same reason about how we actually how we actually collaborate here, like on Blab and that sort of thing. So
Sandra's certainly worth watching. I've met Sandra.
She's fantastic.
I call her Mom. Mom. I have met Sandra, and we had a great time. And she's a lovely person as well. But she's so great in how much the value that she actually gives and brings.
Absolutely.
She's amazing. Ed's up again. Keeps leaving me.
Hi, Ian. How are you?
Ian.
Good, thanks. Sorry for the darkness in the background, and it's a bit of a dark spot, but not really. Just listening to some of the collaboration discussion in the last 2 minutes. I haven't been on the whole time, so sorry about that. But I just heard Ed's comment there about the scale of collaborations that occur. And it struck me that I was having a conversation on Blab 3 or 4 hours ago now. And what struck me was the perception that collaboration has to be big scale, very involved. And people forget some of the simple things that are huge opportunities for collaboration. The question that I was asked was, how valuable is sending out an email to your list? And sure, we all struggle with getting our emails read. I struggle with reading all the emails I get. That's why I use a completely different email account for that stuff.
Yep.
But sometimes it's as simple as marketing to someone else's list. And if two collaborators share it with their respective lists, you've doubled your reach most likely.
Oh, yeah.
So collaboration is not big. It can be simple.
Yeah, it is. It's the small things you can do for each other. And that was one of the things, really, like I said, obviously you missed me at the beginning where I said the reason I brought this topic up is that I had a bee in my bonnet about it, and that I felt, especially obviously from a UK and Irish business point of view, that we don't do enough of it. And that is one of the things you can do. There's no harm in that if you have a mailing list, but you see someone else's blog post even that you think, do you know what? That's great value, and I think my audience would appreciate that. And yeah, you might tweet it out. Yeah, you might put it on your Facebook page. But you know what? That's going to be unique, isn't it? You know, why not send it out to your email list and say, do you know what, guys? I think you should pay more attention to this person because I think they've got a lot to offer you. There's so much value in what they're saying. You know, and you're not even so much as pitching their business. Even what you're actually saying is, there's great value in this. Go read it. Like, you're going to learn something. And I do that quite a lot just within people that I know who are, for example, like obviously I went to the Periscope event and I got to know a lot of Periscopers, you know, and some who are doing a lot of work on there as well, but they've no idea about how to repurpose that content or how to just play in the social media game as it is. So if I see an article and I think, do you know what, they need to read that, and I'll send it to them. Now, I could probably tell them the information myself, but they kind of go, but you're my friend. And I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. Right, okay, so here's the information that somebody else is saying. It's just what I would tell you. And it's great, and that we should be looking out for opportunities all the time to help the people we know. I was at a networking event the other day, and I don't go to many networking events because they're just find the business card exchange bloody forums. But there was Okay. No, nice ones, good ones. Anyway, so and there was actually a girl on the same table with me. She started talking, and straight away it pinged in my mind. I was like, I know someone you should actually talk to. Yes, you're technically in the business coaching space, but they do something different to what you do. And this girl was telling me how she runs these workshops. And I was like, I know someone who would really fit in with that, because there was someone that I knew who was also looking at setting up workshops. And I was like, well, you're not very far from each other. You're probably an hour's drive. Why don't you just work together? Because you can actually do a fantastic workshop together. They'd never met. Like, they were never going to meet, but I met them both. So I just dropped them both an email, said, just introducing you, think your works well together, and away you go. And I think we don't do enough of that. Like, we don't look out for the people we know. We don't, you have to think that, yes, you build all these online connections, but I find the better connections that I make online, I then take them offline. And I'll pick the phone up and I'll have a conversation with them. I'll involve them perhaps in my personal life a little bit. I might arrange to meet them. I'll go for dinner with them. I went to the event in New York and went out to dinner with 7 people I had never met in real life before. I'd only ever met them online. Emailed them all individually and was like, would you like to go to dinner? And we ended up going to dinner. And then, because then they're a personal friend. And then you're more invested in that relationship and you want to help them out. So it's really important that, yes, nurture your online relationships, but actually nurture them offline as well. Because you get more value from the relationship and you're going to offer more to the relationship as well. And like that, things are going to pop into your head going, I can help you with that. I can do this for you. I can do that and I can do that. And don't always put the monetary value on it either.
Some great points there. And that echo's gone, which is good, I think. But I am hearing the tone. The leverage of relationship is with the two owners of businesses who can both benefit. Guess what the biggest benefiter might be?
It's going to be you, because if you do something to help someone, then...
More the point, you're adding value to your listeners.
Yes.
Your real point for bringing in someone else into that conversation is for you to add value to your audience. And I see that as a huge gap. We're seeing it as both of us growing our businesses, and it's actually far more value to add value to your existing base.
Yes.
Which one of us is echoing? Sorry.
I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, they tend to come and go, the echoes on here.
I think it must. Oh, no, it's still echoing. Hang on. Am I echoing myself?
See, it's not echoing at my end. Is anybody else in the comments getting an echo?
I was when Ian was talking. Oh, I'm getting one now.
Any more?
Hang on a second. Anyone else?
Anyone else? Any more echo? I tend to find on these. No.
Can you refresh? Or we lose the sound?
I don't know. It might kick me out. Oh, but you're co-host, right? Let me refresh. So I'm breaking up. Oh, God.
Breaking up, I believe. Actually, not breaking up.
I'm breaking down, not breaking up. Right, hang on, I'm breaking up. Right, I'm going to refresh. Hold on. If we lose, we'll reconvene, okay?
We shouldn't lose it.
Oh,
is that still echoing?
Thank God for that. It's you, Leanne, now. Right. She's always dragging the blab down anyway.
There you
go. So thankfully, it's now we can get on with some serious. As I was saying, it's great to have you back, Sam. It's.
All right, well, peace at last. Shite.
Hey, Angie, how are you? Well, and and that's like what you're saying, Sam, is is quite right. And I was thinking, so that gift that I put in before, and I can toss in another one that that Michael created. Like I was on a blab with the with some people the other day, and one of the guys out of the blab sent me a direct message on Twitter and said, where did you get the gifts from? And so I said, yep, this is the guy that's, Michael Hernson made them. Let me just double check, whether he's, I know that he's made quite a few for Blab, not sure whether he's just giving them away, quite what. And I know that, the Blab ones, he lets people use them for free, but if people want personalised, really designed ones, then I know that, you can contact him and he can give you a price. And so literally I've just put those two of them together. So for me, it was very much yeah, that's okay. This is who does it. This, you want this, and they're together. So something really simple and small and tiny has just added value to both of their businesses.
Yeah, do you know what I love the idea of as well is
discounts at Waitrose.
Love the discount counter at Waitrose. You just totally.
The what? Sorry, I missed that.
All the time. He's such a fecker for doing this. And he'll just totally interrupt me with something that he knows he's going to throw my mind.
Stay focused, Sam. Stay focused. Come on.
No, that's hard work for me. That's real.
I
did a blab last week, right, and it was so funny. I was so prepared for it. I went on with a list of notes, right, and I think more people nearly died of shock that I arrived with my list of notes. But it was actually I went through all the stuff, and then actually afterwards people were like, "Oh my God, Sam! So you see what you can do when you're prepared?" And I was like, "Yeah, it happens once and again." Right. So my point being, what I actually love the idea of is people who have. You can be at the opposite end of the world, you can be in different time zones, but if you actually have a complimentary message, come together, do it in a blab, do it in a webinar, do it. Stop laughing, Ed.
No, I was laughing at.
Absolutely.
Waitrose. Is it just following me around?
Sam, I've been doing some blabs with. I have a friend who works on people's on their strategy and their unique selling proposition and their and she's amazing at pulling information out of people. She and I are doing a blab together, so we do joint stuff. But so that she's in Melbourne, I'm here in Adelaide. I have another good friend who's in the UK who does a lot with speaking and phobias and all sorts of coaching and that sort of thing. So he and I are doing so. Completely different businesses, effectively, but we can all add value to what we're actually giving to the people that are watching.
Yeah. Right. Why are you plugging bloody Waitrose in the comments?
He's adding value to the conversation. Ignore him. I'll focus on the comments. You carry on.
And I have no idea what Waitrose is.
Which is why Old Arkwright put a link to it. See, I think he's adding value.
Have a look.
Right. It's basically, I'll tell you what it is. It's a posh supermarket, and it's where I do my shopping. But it's only because if you go at 4:45 in the evening, and they reduce all the fresh stuff, so you get it really cheap.
That's a good idea. That's an excellent idea.
You see, he was proving Ian's point around adding value to the conversations that are taking place and the people who are watching and taking part in that conversation.
I don't learn about the Waitrose caps.
Embrace it. Don't look
it. Evening now.
He's going to come in sometimes and defend himself.
Yeah, I don't believe him. I'm not entirely sure that even Old Arkwright exists. It's just a parody on it. Well, I'm going to say that until he comes into a blab one day.
But yeah, I just think, and especially with the speed that we're able to develop relationships here, and I'm a Periscope scaredy cat. I've done quite a few scopes, but nothing, and to me, they're nothing in depth and content based, which sounds really bizarre. I actually scoped from our tractor the other day, and so I was driving our tractor and I was raking our hay, and so I decided that I might as well just hop on and start a scope. So, I had quite a few people watching, and I was explaining what I was doing as I was doing it, and I had no problem whatsoever doing it. And yet if you said to me, Leanne, can you do a scope on LinkedIn? Like, it terrifies me.
But you know what? Like, I'm going to maybe be slightly controversial. I don't think Periscope is a business platform. I think there's a lot of people using it as a business platform just to do the old buy your shit brigade. I don't think that's what. I don't think the creators of Periscope, without obviously asking them personally, but I'm quite willing to ask them personally, I don't think they created it with the vision of it being a buy your shit platform.
Well, you can say that about any social media. No one created Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn. I don't believe even they created LinkedIn as a buy my shit platform.
Facebook adapted to incorporate the buy my shit brigade by giving us business pages. Twitter has become a buy. A lot of platforms have adapted to incorporate business. Personally, I think Periscope is better used as a personal informative network. So like that, where you said, you was out plowing the fields and you showed it to people. People will get more value with that because there are people in this world that do not have fields to plow. There are people in this world that never see a field.
No, that's true.
And it's like, I know the two guys over there in Australia that are doing so much on Scope. They're out surfing and all those kind of things. And they got
Dan Moore.
Because I was in New York with all of them. So
why would we not watch Dan Moore?
Well,
really?
I know. Bit of eye candy.
Sorry, Ed. Sorry, doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
Dan Moore?
It doesn't matter. It's just a girl thing.
Me and Dad are friends now.
It's just a girl thing.
One Direction. What I love is if anyone has joined it, I should probably just put this up. Maybe if we can edit the video before it goes live, that if anyone watches this, we're expecting some sort of information piece about collaboration. They're going to learn nothing apart from One Direction and Dan Moore.
No, I know what I'm going to say. I'm making my point. Shut up. He's gone. He's had to go again. I'll be back in a minute. But I've got my bloody point now.
I know.
Point being that when people are showing something interesting, something personal that's interesting, then other people are more interested in that. Seriously, how many times can I watch my 5 top tips to how to run a bloody Periscope? There's how many times I can sit through that, isn't there? Yeah, you know what I mean?
I actually scoped the Robbie Williams concert last night.
No, that's bad. That's naughty. That's breaching copyright. I went to the legal discussion about that, and that is breaching copyright.
Anyway, it'll be gone soon.
Yeah, Robbie Williams could come and sue you for that. Do you know Taylor Swift did actually get someone's account shut down for doing that?
I haven't got many on Periscope, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, Taylor Swift did actually get somebody kicked off for doing that.
But Ian's just said catch you.
Yeah, don't put it on catch.
No, I didn't put it on catch. It will disappear. But no, as far as and that's right. And I think that people that don't have the opportunity to, like I said, like I scoped from the farm, and Angie's saying it was funny because when I'd finished doing what I needed to do, and I said, hang on a minute, I'll just put you down just for a sec while I get out of the tractor. I don't want you, I don't want to fall out of the tractor. And as I got down, the blab dropped out. The blab dropped out because I was blabbing then. And they all thought that I'd actually fallen off of the tractor because I 1 minute said, I don't want you to watch me fall off the tractor, and then I did, I disappeared. But anyway, I think everyone uses the live streaming for different reasons, and and I certainly have watched scopes that I've got a lot of information from, being content-based scopes. But for me, it just doesn't feel right.
But not only that, do you not feel that, if you want to share information, stick it in a blog post. Oh, come on, Blab, and actually discuss it, because, and I'll tell you something really interesting here as well. What I found is that some people are almost scripted on their Periscopes. So when you actually when you ask them a question, they can't answer it.
I can't believe that anyone would be scripted on their Periscope and saying stuff that's already written. Actually, you mentioned blogs. Isn't guest blogs one of the simplest, most common, and incredibly powerful opportunities of collaboration that's out there?
Yes, absolutely. And also one of the best things you can do for your website for SEO value.
Sure.
But my computer just tried to do an update then. I was like, whoa, quick, stop.
Can I just give an example? Old Arkwright's just said about how Periscopes increase their business. I'll give an example of I'll actually give an example. So I only joined Periscope not that long ago, probably maybe a month before I joined Blab, which I've been on Blab for 71 days now. So
happy birthday.
I'm an expert. I'm an old hat at Blab.
Did you write a book about it?
Yeah, I have. I've got an ebook, and I've actually got a $10,000 course teaching how to do Blab.
Do you?
Do you want me to put the link in?
No, because we'll have to kick you off.
So I had come across, and I'll try and make the story as short as I can, but I'm a bit of a storyteller. So my son has got a gardening business here in Adelaide, and he was telling me one day about this guy called Costa, who runs Costa, yeah. So I didn't know who Costa was. I happened to be on Periscope one day. Someone was scoping. Costa was opening an agricultural event somewhere, and I went, I'll just have a look. And so I watched that scope. And so then I followed Costa. And so then one particular day I was watching this scope that Costa was doing with a guy called Charlie McGee, who has got a band called Formidable Vegetable. Anyway, this scope was the funniest thing I've ever seen. They were singing this song and they were in hysterics. Charlie had written this song about an egg and cheese muffin that he'd had on an aeroplane, and the ingredients, when he started to eat it, he looked at the packet and the ingredients he couldn't believe were in this egg and cheese muffin. So he wrote a song purely containing the ingredients of this egg and cheese muffin. Anyway, the scope was the funniest thing. So I started following Charlie. So whenever they would come on, I would, and I would go and I would, write some stuff in the comments. So, I would go onto their scopes and Charlie, Costa would say, "G'day, Leanne, how's South Australia," and whatever. And so we built up a bit of, like a relationship of me watching and commenting. So then Charlie was actually he's been making a kids, with his band, a kids permaculture album. And he had a crowdfunding program that, to actually make this album. So I said, look, I'll tweet it out and I'll put it on my LinkedIn. And so the day that I did that, I think he said that he had I remember looking, he had $2,500 raised for his campaign at that point in time, and he needed $5,000 to make the album. And the day that I started tweeting it out and on LinkedIn and on Facebook, he raised $1,000 that day, increasing in his campaign.
Yeah.
And then so as the time went on, so he ended up getting up to $11,000 to make this album and something else. But the funny thing was, one particular night Charlie was scoping from the mixing studio, mixing this album, and it was just Costa and I on his scope. And so Charlie's going, "Okay, I want you two to help me actually make this album." And so he's playing the songs and he'd say, "How does that sound?" And, and I'd say, "Oh, it sounds a bit creepy. I think that's going to scare the kids." And he'd change the octave. He'd say, "What about this?" And I said, "Oh, it's still a bit creepy." And then he'd change it again. I said, "Yeah, that sounds really good." "Right, well, that's how it'll be." So Costa and I spent 2 hours on this scope with Charlie mixing this album. And so so the point of my story is that, that relationship has been built purely on me going on and commenting on their scope. So Charlie, and I'm certainly not sitting here saying, that what I did was the be all and end all for Charlie's crowdfunding campaign for his kids' permaculture album. But I know that some of the stuff that I did and tweeted out and put on LinkedIn and got people to, people would come back to me and say, "Yeah, Leanne, that's amazing. I've followed it and I've added to the campaign." So anyway, ends my story.
But I think the point of that really is that you've got involved because you found the original Periscope and it was entertaining.
Yep.
Which brings us back to the point I originally made, which was that actually I think Periscope is more about the entertainment value. And if you find something on there that is entertaining and that you engage with,
that's right.
Then you're going to go and say, actually, what do you do as a business? Or who are you? Let me find out more about you. Because obviously there's only so much you can learn about someone through a Periscope or even a Blab bio, isn't there? So I think that is where it comes in, where I've said about, actually, I think Periscope is more. I think it's the entertainment platform, whereas Blab is the serious platform. And Blab, you can do the collaborations on. There's only so much you can collaborate on a Periscope, isn't there? It's a little screen there.
Could we? While we're talking about Periscope, can we do something like some sort of campaign that stops people from scoping their blabs? I don't know anyone who in this room who's guilty of that.
Drives you bananas, doesn't it?
I don't know anyone here who may have done that. I mean, but perish the thought. Yeah. But, did you? I can't remember.
So, Sam, how do you do it?
My point was actually going to be.
But like that point is the phone at the screen.
Before I pick a fight with you on that one, Sam, the point that I was going to make is that I think you're right in terms of it's not a serious platform, it's an entertainment platform, but you could argue that that's social media. So I think there's room for all scopes, all Blab conversations, all tweets, etc., to either be educational, entertaining, informative, empowering, all those aspects. And I think there's room for people to be in the same way that all podcasts aren't entertainment, they're often informative and educational, as can scopes be. And I've seen some that have actually been really enjoyable to watch. So I think there's room for it. The focus has to be that it is a two-way engagement. Even on Periscope, when it's you talking to the world, it's still two-way, because they can leave comments, but because you have to give them a reason why they're going to watch this. Now, often there are people who just, this is my journey home. Now, of course, I don't like it, but some people do. But some people who are leaving Scope, some people are hosting Blabs that are entertaining, but equally they can add value to their day-to-day lives, whether that's personally and professionally. I think there's room for both on that. I don't think it has to be Scopes or entertainment and other options.
I mean, it certainly is. It's more, I don't like the people who use it purely to just be a buy my shit brigade. Because there is no value in that, is there, apart from you might make a sale. But from me engaging with them or them even engaging with me, they don't, because they just want to sell me something. And that's pretty like, bleh,
I think. What you just demonstrated, and Ed almost stole my thunder, is that there are different Periscopes for different purposes, just as there are different Blabs for different purposes.
Oh, yeah.
And I see no harm, and in fact I see a lot of value in people doing a Periscope to introduce themselves to you with, go back to Leanne's point, 3 tips for good LinkedIn usage. It's enough to give someone a taste. Don't sit there for half an hour or an hour and try and do a Blab-style relationship thing, because it doesn't work.
No.
Very quick. Here's the intro. Here's something that I think is true, whatever true might be, and perhaps take the conversation off to their blog, their Blab, whatever other platform. It's about who is their market and who are they trying to appeal to. And it could be purely entertainment, it could be business, it could be anything. It does have a place, but you need to know how to use it right.
I can agree with you more.
Periscopes that take 10 minutes to get to any fact at all, or even their opinion at all. But give us the 2-minute preamble, give us 3 minutes of content, chat for 10 minutes if people want to hang around. That's leading a conversation to somewhere where you can have a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think the generalising head.
Yeah. And I think that's where probably I get, I've X'd out at that point where they're like, oh, God, hang on, I'm still here for 3 hours and we're only on tip number 2.
Well, don't blame the recorder for you staying on 3 hours.
No, don't say 3 hours. It's okay. I'm just exaggerating.
I'm actually building a little timer. Tell them 2 minutes of intro, 3 minutes of content, and get the hell out. And tell them, manage the time for your viewers, not for you. Very big difference.
Yeah, it is very much. But you know, I'm gonna cool. US v the culture v US European about how we use it for business. Well, yeah, I mean, we've discussed this before in the past a lot about the cultural differences of obviously how we do business between the US and the European and the Aussies as well. And I think maybe it's
us do business. We're in different states. That doesn't happen.
You're pointing the wrong way.
Right way for me.
I always just do that.
Pointing the opposite way to the way you can see him on the screen.
Yeah, I know. But
yeah. And look, you've got red, I've got white.
That's
See, it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock at night here.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning here. It might be a little early.
Yeah, but a bit early for us.
11's isn't it?
But I think, yes, how we use platforms is different. And I think perhaps the more reserved European approach is that we, you know, we'll be more, I don't know, cultivating of our audience and almost afraid to sell to them. Whereas I've noticed a lot, some reserved. All right, maybe I'm not. But I think we are. We don't want to hammer home our businesses, do we?
Oh.
That's, you know, whereas I've been on Blab and you know, the person, the US culture is they're totally fine to tell you this is what I do and this is what I'm going to sell you. I'm like, woo. So I think that's just, yeah, there is a cultural difference of probably how we use them, but I think that's just embedded into our nature, and that we're not flying our business flags. That makes sense.
But then a business is, so people buy from people. We all know that. And the businesses are only a part of who we are. There's so much more color and layers to us as individuals. And social media can be a great tool to help us understand who that person is, so that then we may be more likely to collaborate with them, let alone buy from them. But we may be more likely to collaborate them staying on topic. So Periscopes and Blabs are a fantastic opportunity to find out the personality behind the individual. Unfortunately, too many people who scope and too many people who blab who think they're doing it for business don't want to hear on our self-confessed gurus. But ultimately, when you do strip off some of those layers and you do get to know the person behind it, and that person on the scope or the blab allows that to happen, then who knows what may come from that, and future collaborations and future engagements with that individual in a professional context can lead to anywhere.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, like, and for me, I've always said like this, you know, like I said, Periscope's not been something that I've just taken like a duck to water, but Blab has. And I think that, you know, and I just say all the time that, you know, it makes real people real. You know, you can't fake. You know, you might come on, you know, some of them might come on, you know, a couple of times and be some, but, you know, if you're on all the time, you know, except last night, yeah, Cara.
About last night.
But stop it, leave me alone. And but you know, you can't fake being real. And you know, everyone has different layers. And you're right. If people are allow people to see the different layers of you, then you know, and that's where. And for me, that's where I make I can make connections. Like I was on a scope one day with Ryan Bell and
Ryan,
Ryan and a girl called Margot. He was introducing her to Blab, and she's doing, and I don't know that I've actually seen her do any yet, but she was going to be doing Blabs about birthing and motherhood and all of that sort of thing. And I remember, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a 50th birthday lunch with a girlfriend of mine, and I was talking to a lady I hadn't met before. She and I got talking, and she's a birthing hypnotist, a birthing hypnotherapist. And you know, my first thought was, wow, I bet it would be really interesting for that Margot to speak to this Tracy about, you know, and maybe so. And like for me, I think unless if we don't let people see all the different sides of us, then there's so much that we could be helping other people that, you know, we don't know.
Exactly. And I think that does bring us almost full circle, doesn't it, about collaboration? Because do you know what we all have? Like, not just our business skills. We all have like so much to offer. If you want to know about how I feel Ireland are going to win the Rugby World Cup,
you'll tell us.
Exactly. Because I take great delight in going, ha ha, Ed, for England being.
Well, no, you see, I have an advantage that I'm also half Scottish, so I've moved my allegiance to that side for the remainder of the tournament.
Well, let's just
and I have no view on it whatsoever. Yes, Ian.
Let's just go back a little bit. When we're in a classroom, when we're in any place where we learn, as a facilitator, coach, teacher, one of the things I look at is people's learning styles. And we all have the way we like to learn. I'm sure all of you guys in the panel right now have heard it, and those in the room have probably heard it too, about some of us being visual, auditory, kinesthetic. The list goes on, and it's a nice theory.
Yep.
But even more so, just as the classroom has a style, so do we as teachers. And we often forget that. We're very focused on the receptiveness of our audience to our message, because that's what our job is to get it across. But we also have a teaching style, which almost mirrors what the audience has. And some of us are tellers, like the maths teacher we had at school, who stood at the front and wrote down on the blackboard, page 442. And you do the exercises on that page, and they were a chalk and talk style teacher.
Yep.
Others of us are facilitators and collaborators. And I don't mean collaboration in business, I mean in a room.
Yep.
And I think that is the difference between a Periscope person and a Blab person.
Well,
it's how you.
I'm not entirely. I mean, ultimately,
or a facilitator like Blab.
I'm not entirely sure, because I think storytelling is a great way to add personality to an individual in a business, and Periscope is actually a really useful opportunity to tell a story. If you want interaction and feedback about that story, or hear other people's examples, sure, Blab is better for that. But storytelling is a fantastic way to leave a positive impression, as I say, about you and your business. And I think Scope is great for that, and also great for sharing experiences as well, in much the same way that podcasts are. You don't interact as we do in this room on a podcast. So I think Periscope is another opportunity for that. It's just that not many people see it that way. And as you rightly say, Ian, they just see it in a very kind of almost egotistical way.
And I think it's recognising that we have a different style of teaching at different times and choosing which one works. And for Leanne, you're a much more facilitator than a teller. It's just affect the way you are.
Yeah, I am.
That's fine.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely. And it's it, but you know, then it also comes down to your communication style and your personality type and the awareness of it, and the people that have the awareness and the people that don't. And because, you know, I could sit here and talk all day without any problem at all, but there are times when I could be sitting here co-hosting a Blab or facilitating a Blab and not say a word, because, you know, and it's about actually having that awareness of the situation and time and place, and you know, and I would go, like, all the time, I would go, if I was at a workshop or something, you know, everyone would expect me to answer first, and I was always very conscious of, no, I don't need to answer first. Everyone thinks I'm going to, and I could if I wanted to, but I don't. So, but it's that awareness also, and I think from a Blab, like from a facilitation perspective, and that's why, like, I'm always sitting here looking at the comments, and you know, and if someone else is talking, and you probably find this hard to believe at this point in time, like, I can shut up.
No.
But you find
I can.
The more you know about a person, business and personal wise, then it obviously sets your mind ticking more as to, you know what, you should hook up with this person, you should meet this person, you should do this
all the time.
You know, like, you know, I dare say all the people putting Go Wallabies in the comments there don't want to collaborate with me because I'm way up the Irish.
Although, talking of rugby, isn't the British Lions a form of collaboration?
Yes, it is.
No idea. I don't know anything about rugby.
The beloved Brian O'Driscoll was once the captain of. So
exactly.
Yeah, friend of mine. At
least we're talking about a global game, not that stupid soccer stuff.
Don't sort me on
Ian,
that
it's been a while since I booted you out of a Blab, and it doesn't mean that I can't do it again.
By the way, Leanne, I have just passed a message on to Dan Moore. It's telling me watching for the eye candy.
You didn't, did you? Oh, no, I've already told him that before, so that's okay. He knows that. He knows that. We all know. Everyone knows that. We watch.
Okay, I'm just going to step out and let someone else have a seat if they want it.
I think I might join you, Ian, if we carry on this conversation about Dan Moore.
No, he'll be impressed. Don't worry.
Oh, Dan Moore. Yes. Anyway, right. So, we've completely thrown the topic off topic, haven't we?
I know. I just thought I'd tell you that one to laugh. I haven't done any of my random things in for a while.
So, Sam, you went to Periscope Summit in New York.
I did, yeah.
Are you going to the one in San Francisco?
I've already booked. Yeah, I'm going. And then hopefully...
I nearly am.
It's worth it.
Nearly am.
Let me think. What's the best way to sum it up? It did just turn into a weeks-long party, unfortunately. And it's taken me like 2 weeks to recover from it. Hey, Cara!
Hello. Cara.
It's been a while, Ed, since we've blabbed together.
I've missed you.
Oh,
I've had to deal with this one for a while.
You say that about me.
Because I speak to you practically every day. I don't get a chance.
And Sam, I'm actually not a rugby follower. So
Good.
No.
Neither am I anymore.
Oh, dear.
Oh, cheers, Leanne.
Cheers, Cara. Cheers.
I know that my credibility totally goes when I hold up the One Direction cup.
It does. Sorry, but it does.
It's actually my daughter's, not mine, honestly.
So poor old Ed's outnumbered.
I know, that's it.
I'm prepared. Bring it on.
No, we're pretty harmless.
What, us Aussie chicks, yeah.
Yeah, we're harmless.
Oh, dear. So, Cara, have we inspired you to collaborate with anyone? Or come up with a collaboration?
Or more to the point, do you have any examples of collaboration?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, lots. And all since I started live streaming, funnily enough.
Just to fly in the face of everything we've been saying for about the last.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cara, tell us your scope stories, Cara.
Okay, so my first collaboration was within the first 3 weeks of Periscoping. I was asked to become a mentor in a handmade business group where I provide, I'm the mentor for websites and social media. So that was the first 3 weeks, and I've been on Periscope since the end of May. Subsequent to that, I have been asked to work on 2 training packages, one on Blab, in fact. I have recently been asked to collaborate on a global conference. So that's another one that I've been asked to work on. I'm trying to think.
I know, it gets hard, doesn't it? Because it's sort of...
all this work, seriously. But to be honest, since live streaming, the opportunities that I've had to collaborate and work with people has increased, and it's opened up my options broader than what I would have had, just having my other social media streams or my website.
Completely.
So.
In what way?
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah, and it creates such a personal connection as well. Yeah. Like, we can all chat away on Twitter, and I do chat away on Twitter, posting my random shite on Twitter. Okay. But all of a sudden, when you're having this face-to-face little chat, different world.
But my question to Cara is, I totally understand the connection side, but the actual collaborations that this has led to, such as. Okay.
So what I had never been asked to do any of those previously, Ed. I'm only 10 months into my business. And at the start, when the first one came in, it was 6 months into my business. And what it has meant is that I've been quicker to develop relationships with people, and people have been able to learn very quickly what I'm capable of doing. They're able to see the authenticity, because I heard you speaking of authenticity earlier. I was doing a little bit of work before I was able to join in. So it's helped in that regard.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you can develop quickly through the other media.
I also think, and Ian raised the point there, saying the downside is if you're not getting the opportunities, do we take it personally? Actually, if you're not getting the opportunities, I think it's a good way to reevaluate what you do, because maybe you're chasing the wrong opportunities. And I've seen a few people that are perhaps going down the wrong rabbit holes, so to speak. And I think they probably learn from asking the people they're talking to, hey, what do you think my specialist subject is? What do you think I should be doing? You know, and I think it helps that, you know, if you can build this far more interactive audience, and then you can say to your audience, hey, like, you know, the business might be quiet, or perhaps you feel you're not getting the return on the investment, and say, actually, what do you think I should do? Like, what do you think? Am I specializing in the wrong things? Perhaps you think I'm more knowledgeable about something else. And sometimes by actually asking your audience, you get an answer that you might not even be expecting. You know, because if I say, actually, I think you provide more value in such and such a thing. So, yeah, I think if you're not getting the opportunities, or you're not building enough relationships, perhaps it's because you're going in the wrong direction. And you need to go in the right direction.
That's an incredibly good point, because when I started live streaming, I was talking about social media and the technology behind it and how businesses can implement it, and particularly handmade businesses. Now, and I noticed the saturation of the medium.
Sorry, the saturation of?
The medium of either of live streaming. With people who are social media managers, experts, you know, provide the exact same value. Look, it wasn't a dig at you, Sam.
No, because I work in social media, but I never actually go, social media person, social media person, social media person. I don't do that.
So what I've done in the last month is actually I've changed my niche. I've changed my niche to the psychology of social media and the psychology of web, because I can.
And that's where, and Cara, that's where we see your you know, and I don't mean, I don't mean this, you know, in any other way, but, you know, that's where we see your value is being able to come on and talk about it from the psychology of social media and actually bringing that to people's attention, because most people don't think about it. So you know, like, what do I automatically think? I think of Cara from the psychology of social media perspective. That's what I think of you.
Thank you.
But, you know, yeah. So and, you know, there's been times where I brought you onto Blabs because I know that what we're talking about, you can provide more input into that from the perspective that you look at it from, that people don't. So it adds a completely different perspective to what most people look at it from.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling.
Right, guys, I'm going to need to shoot because I've actually got a client trying to get hold of me as well as my texting boys.
Oh, goodness me, you mean you need to work?
Yeah, I've actually got a client trying to get hold of me, so I'm like, shit, I need to go. So
it was lovely meeting you.
It's been emotional.
And then any last notes they'd like to add before I do wrap this up?
I think we
Don't
summed
be
it
afraid
up.
to ask.
Yeah, I think we summed it up that there are many collaborations out there, and they often come from competitors. So keep an open mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And across the pond, you know, very, very far away too.
Yeah.
In different time zones that do all our heads in.
Don't drink too much, Leanne.
Do contact me if you're going to San Francisco. You can, because we're having a party in San Francisco because it's my big birthday just before. So we're
Sorry, what was that?
Celebrations and having, so we're actually doing the celebrations in San Francisco and having a party. So you'd be more than welcome to come. I'm 40.
Well, she certainly didn't say 60 older, right?
30
we
plus
know
fat.
that for a fact.
30 plus fat.
So Sam, so I'm working on So I am working on going to San Francisco in January.
San Francisco, they are planning an Australia for the end of May.
Yes.
Yes.
So you need to come
I'll
down
definitely
to
be
Australia,
there.
Sam. I'll be there.
That's already in the planning. Flights are already. Already. So been sourcing my couches. I'm going to be sleeping on.
The worst part is at this point in time we don't actually know a date.
No, I was talking to one of the organisers last night, and I think it's going to be known pretty soon.
Good. I'll be meeting one of the organisers at the end of the month, so that's all right.
Yeah.
And Ian's just told me that I can't go to the Periscope Summit if I don't believe in it. I didn't say I didn't believe in it.
You know what?
I said I'm a Periscope scaredy cat.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you get to meet amazing people and you get to meet loads of new friends, and it's just like a big school reunion. So it doesn't matter.
People socialising, that's right. It's building my networks. That's what it's called, Ian.
It is. That's what I went for, because I'm not the biggest Periscope user anyway. Yes, I teach my clients how to use it, and I give my clients a lot of ideas and different things they should be doing and all that kind of stuff. But actually, I'm not the biggest user of it. But I went and got enormous value from actually going, got so many ideas, and made a ton of new friends. So I'm cool with that.
Absolutely. Right. So I'm planning some workshops in Austin and in Palm Springs and in LA. I'm running some LinkedIn training workshops. So that's some collaboration that I've been forming here on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. That's great.
On Blab with people that I've met.
It just left me a comment there. What are you commenting at me out there, Ed? I can't.
No, so there was a comment from. Hang on, I've lost my messages.
From Ian?
No, there was a comment from Potty's chap saying that there should be a BritCon, kind of a live streaming event here. Although Old Arkwright made a great point. There's more people were talking about this Periscope Summit on Blab than they were on actually Periscope. Yeah. So there should be a live streaming summit here in the UK. Sam, let's do it.
I actually happen to know there's already something in the planning.
Ah, brilliant. Good. I'll have to organise everything then. Carry on, as you were.
Carry on, yeah. Ignore that.
Yeah. Right, I'm going. I'm leaving you. I've had enough fishes. I need to go and do some.
See you, everyone.
Right, I will see you soon. Goodbye.
Absolutely, bye. Have a good day. See you, Ian.